Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings. The whole for left, one for the full, and the rest of 1/3. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. The whole for left, one for the full, and the rest of 1/3. And all my apostles, elders, and bishops, Malachian. You know what I'm saying? All my apostles, elders, and bishops, Malachian, who do well. Shalom, shalom. Apostle Tahar is about to give out this word, recognize and be edified.
Shalom, give all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Bashar, Hashem, Kakabah, Shalom to the 144,000, and the rest of you left out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle the video, Isaiah 4:1. We're visiting, it's at the door. Anyway, I was watching the video that was put up by one of the young elders at the New York camp, and he goes by the name of Amawan Gabar. But what I'll do probably is put his site in the description box because I don't want to go and look for it again. Give you the exact site. I'm pretty sure you should have the site. Subscribe to it. But anyway, so he was going into a woman that was telling Israelite woman to stay away from the Israelite men. Then there was a woman that had a dream about Isaiah 4:1, and she was going into detail stuff that we already know. You're gonna pick and choose who you want, and if a woman acts up, you can put her outside. But like I said, I'll get the video back and I'll put it in the description box. If you subscribe to the young elder, you know what I'm talking about. This is one of his latest videos he did yesterday. Anyway, I said I was going to do a video featuring the scripture Isaiah 4:1, and I was going to go to the chat. I may even go to the commentary. So, and that's what it's right at the door too. So I'll make this video right here. I'm gonna let some of it play, but you're gonna have Tucker Carlson and I forget the other person's name, and they're gonna say some crazy, straightforward stuff. I'm surprised that they still have a platform. You see the individual when I click on it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute it, and then I'm gonna go to subtitles, closed caption. So this is a video put up by GMS, All Precepts. If you haven't subscribed to him, please do. He goes into a lot of prophetic stuff, filters a lot of current events, which I do a lot of times. I take a lot of current events or just go into breakdowns. We focus on prophecies, eschatology. We're considered futurists, prophets, apostles by even the Google, chat. When you put in GMS Israelites, what they're known for, and they'll say that they're known for going into prophecies and apocalyptic writings in the book, and they might even mention the MOTB, World War III, Armageddon. Because we're prophets, so what we do is prophesy. That's what we do. So it says, this is put up by GMS All Precepts. Please subscribe, be edified. The title is The Strategic Gathering of the Nations and End Time Middle East Prophecies We Hear. Anyway, let me bring this back a little bit so you can know where he's reading from. I mean, if you been in this thing, you know exactly where he's reading from, but I'll bring it back.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 33. And it reads, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn having no husbands. The daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed.
Now you see that on you all over YouTube, the YouTube platform, the TikTok, these different platforms, that these women are desperate because men ain't approaching them. And the reason being is men are sick and tired of going up to a woman and getting turned down. You know, who wants, you want to go to a beautiful woman, you ask for a dance or you ask her for a number or whatever, and she turns you down, you know, that's you suffer, you start to suffer low self-esteem, you know? And you figure it's a waste of time. And then if you do get a number, you know, you don't know if she's trying to get paid, whatever. And I've been with many different women, and you know they come, you know the way they come just by initially getting with them, you know what they're all about. And some of them about money, some about they dig you, but they want to know that they money wise, you know. They got more problems financially wise than anything. A lot of these women that you meet are single mothers. They got, you know, some of them got 5 and 6 kids by maybe 3 different guys. That's not a good, you know, it's not a good, and I've been with them type of women that had single mothers. Single mothers, and they're desperate. You know, ain't no man want to come into a household. You know, maybe if you have one child, son, or whatever, you know, you can say, but you got a whole gaggle of kids. But anyway, you want to be in that. That's you get into that drama. And these women are going, man. Hey, that's why the Apostle Paul said what he said. It's best not to have a woman, because women are a fucking headache, man. They're a burden. They can be a burden unto you. Unless you get a white woman with a good job, she making six figures. You know, she's CEO, whatever. Matter of fact, almost got a seat. She was an exec with CBS. I used to do deliveries. She's always asking me, make sure you send him. And she was trying, I never got with her, but she would say, oh, I want you to be my trainer. You know what that means. And she was 10 years older than me. I believe I was 35 at the time. She was 45. You know, but I never, now if I would have got with her, life would have been so much easier because she made good money. She made damn good money. You know, where she was living, you gotta make good money to live in this. It was a luxury apartment, you know. But she's always say, make sure you send him. Make sure you send him. You know. And I think back, I said, yeah, she's a good-looking woman. I should have got with her. Now I believe she was Armenian, which is J. Which most people think Armenians are. Edomites and not Edomites, they are people. But she believes that she was white. She carried herself as a white woman. You know? She'll probably be one of my wives in the kingdom. Anyway, let me just go ahead and let that play. I'm just giving you a little my experience. You gotta be in an analytical mind when you deal with any situation. Police pull you over, you don't get stupid. Hey brother, it always ends well with me and the police. They even tell you how to beat the ticket. Look, just say not guilty, and I never show up anyway. As soon as you show up for the judge, it's gonna throw right out. I'm talking about Edomite cops. You know, you cool with an Edomite cop, you refer to him as officer, you ask him how was his day. You see his name, Officer Williams, how you doing, Officer Williams, how was your day? And you have the paperwork right there. Make his job easy. And then he'll say you'll have insurance, registration, and license. When you have the paperwork ready for him, he said, just give me your license. I don't need none of that other stuff. Cause he has a trust. He said, no, this guy wouldn't give it to me. Then they'll say, well, you went to that stop sign, maybe you didn't see it. Well, I'm gonna give you a break. You live around here? Yeah. I said, I'm gonna give you, where you live? So I said, let me give you a break, man. I'm not gonna do nothing to you. Make sure you just drive careful. You have a nice day. Mr. So-and-so, and I'll say, okay, you too, officer, you have a nice day, blessed day, okay? And that's it. That's it. So there's ways from experience. Same thing with women. You got to analyze and psychoanalyze a woman, and you can tell by her actions. She says one thing, but her body language says something else. So you got a YouTube page called Ask an Older Man. He's a Benjaminite. I believe he lives in Europe. He's married to an Edomite woman. He's happy, and he gives you good advice. So, ask the old man. Anyway, let's go.
And their husband shall perish of famine.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me bring this back. And I'm gonna let me bring this back.
The virgin shall mourn. This is the book of 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 33. And it reads, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn having no husbands. The daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
Okay, so now let's go over here, because you got the alternative media. You got mainstream, which nobody watches mainstream.
You bras are done. I'm telling you. See, you think everything's a joke, like Bob Hope smoking crack on the soap. But you're done, man. You better recognize, you know what I'm saying, that your time is completely almost up. You're on what they say, the edge of your teeth, the phlegm of your teeth, or the edge of a nail. And you're falling off bad. The only thing left is the tip of your fingernail on that nail, and you hanging right now. You about to go, woo, oh no. Yeah, and you doing oh no right now, like Optimus Prime saying oh blow. That's right. You saying oh no right now. You broads are done. You females think things is a joke. But time is almost completely here.
Might watch it for weather, some earthquake or some shit, but nobody really watches CNN for news, Fox and all that. It's all bull. That's
watching CNN is like watching the Fruit Loops commercial. You know what I'm saying? MSNBC, that's like watching the toilet flush all day. All that mainstream crap is just crap. That's right.
Like corporate news, but you got these guys that set up their own platforms. So he's one of the guys. I don't know this guy's name, but I've seen him before. Okay, so let me just go ahead and do this. I don't want to get a strike, so I muted it, and then I'm going to put subtitles. Okay, so this is the elder reading. The bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So what you're going to have is, pursuant to what he just read in 2 Ezra 16, verse 33, and I read maybe a verse down. It's telling you that there's going to be a shortage of men because of the wars and the famine. Now, what these colonels and
it's off the chain because last week was a Friday. Edomite women smiling and giggling at me and all that, looking at me. I just kept on walking. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, you looked at me as a parasite. So I'm going to keep that contract that I signed and that you signed with your worst actions, with your nasty actions. You did? So now I'm going to stay that parasite. You did? Thought you knew.
Like the Scott Ritters, the Colonel McGregors, and these different individuals that were former military. I did another one called, what's his name, Matt. His last name started with a B. He was former Navy SEALs, and they all say the same thing. Them putting boots on the ground is going to be a disaster for Babylon.
Gonna be a good disaster, beautiful disaster. That's right.
You know, ultimately, you know, Joel 2 verse 20 is coming to pass. It says, let's go on. So I muted him, and I put the subtitles, closed caption. Okay, it's such a betrayal. This is not me saying this. This is the guys that are going to go over there. This fucking resign. This is the day when I resign, you know? And you know, these military personnel, these troops, they're talking among each other. I don't know if they let them watch YouTube or whatever, but they get the news. You know, they get the news from the states. It says this is the guys that are going to go over there, and they're tier 1, tier 2 units that are joking around, saying like, yeah, this isn't even for us. Everybody knows they're fighting for that. I'm going to read that. That's not a winning strategy. So that's anti-Semitic shit ain't working no more. As soon as you say something critical about government of that place, Malatine, you're labeled you're labeled anti-Semite, and people are getting tired of that shit. So you hear this news about Nero, the cruel Lord, joining forces with Mizrael to put boots on the ground. That's a suicide mission. It's a winning strategy if they don't believe in what they're potentially going to do, which hopefully they're going to do nothing but high probability they're going to do something, and they know it's not United States, the U.S., Babylon fights out of dog, buddy, what is that, buddy? And you think they know that? I know they know that because I just had a going away party for one, and that's all he was talking about, and it's effing sad. It's such a betrayal. Okay, let's see what this is. Let me come back over here. Let me unmute this. Shameful. You know, I'm thinking about Habakkuk 2 verse 16. Shameful spewing shall be upon your glory. Shameful. Pentagon accused of cover up over U.S. military casualties in Iran war. They said a week and a half ago, there was 4. It was 3, then it was confirmed that it was 4. They're saying it's closer to 500. You know? And that's not a good look. A pretty Northern Kingdom woman, 19 years old, very pretty woman, she died, man. That means she was in the midst of the fire. She has no business being over there, period. Another reason why this is called Babylon.
I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit of the Rakak Wadash. This article here is from theguardian.com. Headline reads, Shameful. Pentagon accused of cover-up over U.S. military casualties in the Iran war. All right, so every day it just gets worse. Okay, and you can no longer lie to the people. Okay, people understand that thousands of troops, are dying over there in this war with Iran.
And we don't know the exact number yet, but in time, all of them are going to die. All of them are going to die. Because they don't know the scriptures, they don't understand the prophecies. I'm going to say this. The only ones that know all the prophecies of the scriptures, 100% are the men of GMS. Not even ISUBK and IUIC. They know a lot, give them credit, but they really can't put it all together like the men of GMS. And even Google and the chat, the AI says the same thing. We are known, when you put in IUIC, what they known for community gathering and businesses and marching down the street. Then they'll put prophecy behind. We're known for strict going into the literal prophecies of the scriptures.
Okay. So it's all coming out every day. And according to prophecy, this thing is escalating to the war of all wars, all right, World War III. So that death toll is only going to continue to climb.
Which is Armageddon. Right? Armageddon. Revelation 16. Behold, I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. Dragon is interchangeable with the beast system and Rome. But now it's come to powers that decision making is coming out of London, one of 3 city states. They make the decision making, the bankers, the elite, and they make a decision whether they're going to go to war or not. Because in war you make money, you become rich by war. How many people became that was worth maybe 100 million is now worth maybe 10 billion because of war. War always makes money. What's this guy? We were talking about him yesterday. General Smedley Butler. He said war is a racket. Anyway.
It says no press briefing has been held for months as the Defense Department belatedly or inaccurately releases figures, all right? So they'll continue to lie to the people, man, to downplay, how many soldiers are actually being put to death, right? Let's hit the summary real quick. Let's see what we get from it. All right, here we go. Let's let this pull 1 more second. Here we go. So it says here on the left in the summary, it says allegations of casualty cover-up. All right. Withheld information. Former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta and other experts accused the Pentagon of intentionally withholding the true number of U.S. casualties in the ongoing.
It's bad for morale. You got big numbers, like let's say 3,000 troops died. That kills the morale of the other, which they don't have. Their morale is low anyway because of this guy. They know that this guy's about himself and about his rich buddies. Even these dumbass MAGA people are waking up.
On war with Iran to avoid public backlash, right? Because they know that people are going to uproar. Okay? To avoid public backlash ahead of midterm elections. Casualty figures. The conflict has resulted in 18 U.S. troop deaths and approximately 430 injuries, right? So we know those numbers are flawed. Okay? There's way more deaths than 18.
Let me just say this. Stay away from these, I hate to say it, but stay away from these Israelite women. They're nasty hoes. Not all of them. Most of them. Okay, so I gotta watch this. Put up by Shalom, Israel 777. Subscribe and be edified. Premiering now, Women Amidst. Oh, that's what's her name? Brittany Rand. Ain't nobody want her. She been ran through too many goddamn times. And all of these women, all these fucking women, they out there, man. Cause if you throw your ass in a man's face, an Israelite man, he's gonna take it. Whether you got a husband or not, but if he's an Israelite, he gonna ask you got a man. And you might lie, you might stutter, no, I ain't got a man. Me and my man broke up 2-3 months ago. But y'all still got a little thing going. So our women are fucked up, man. That's why we, in this, hey, when Isaiah 4:1 comes down, when it takes place, when we experience it, ain't gonna be no playing games, man.
That's right.
These women can do this. They do their little running around. What does it say in the Ecclesiasticus, either 25 or 20? Give not thy daughter liberty to gad abroad. Give not thy daughter liberty to gad abroad. I'm not gonna go into that, but maybe I should. Since we're talking about the woman, okay, let's do this. Let me slide this over here. Bear with me for a minute. Let me bring it up for you. Bring it up for you. Okay. I want to go to Ecclesiasticus. Let's go to 25. Think 25 or 26. Let's try 25. There we go. And you can really pretty much read, there's a lot of information in this chapter right here. Right, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impotence, and much reproach. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. In other words, it goes deep. Well, we're humans, man. We're men. We're men, ain't we? When you see a woman, she gotta look good, and you thinking about, hey, that's all of us. Which that's wrong, because you got to think down the line. Is she gonna be a good wife, a good mother, a good provider? You know, all that other good looks and sex come in play too. But that's why Jake women especially, they got 3, 5, 6 babies by like 3, 4 different baby daddies. Cause they're not disciplined, man. And they grew up, guaranteed, they grew up in a single household, single parent household, and the women rule. And what women say is, oh, don't just get the first man that you get, you play the field, baby, like I did. Yeah, look what it got you. It got you 6 kids, 7 kids from 4 different dudes. 2 of them is locked up, 1 of them is dead. You know, the other one is in a fucking insane asylum. And that's why we tell you, man, you get a nice Edomite woman, but when I say that, you can get a woman that look like an Edomite, like an Italian woman, an Irish woman, Eastern European woman. You tell, if they got that flavor, that swag, so to speak, female swag.
Yeah.
when you know that she's a Jake. It says, let me see. I don't want to go too far up. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. The woman is wicked, let me tell you. Let the portion of his sin fall upon her. As the climbing up of a sandy way is to the feet of the age, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. That's what you call henpecked. Oh, another thing, never move in with a woman. If need be, you can have her move in with you, but you don't want that either. You want her to live in her place, and you live in your place.
Right.
If you get with her, you cool with her for a couple of days. When she gets on your nerves, and I did that. I said, "This time, look, I got to disappear for a couple of days." No, baby, no. I'm disappearing for a couple of days. You disappear for a couple of days, and then you come back. You know. Anyway, stumble not at the beauty of a woman. All of us stumble at the beauty of a woman. First thing we see is what does she look like face-wise, and what does her body look like. All of us are guilty of that. You look at her face, and you look at her body. You know, you look at her ass. You know, you say, yeah, she got a cute ass, and she got a medium-sized breasts, and she got a pretty face, and she got a nice walk, and desire her not for pleasure. Because ultimately, in your mind, how long is it going to take for me to, get with her? Go all the way home with it. That's what you think. You got dudes out there that's with a chick that you ain't got nothing. You've been with her for 6 months. No, that ain't happening with me. The most I give you is a month. And I did that one fucking time. So 3 weeks in, I said, look, baby, you got to do something. This third base ain't kicking it. And then, we did it. We did the dirty deed, as they call it. And that's pretty much, she was a good looking woman, nice body. And that's all, I gave her what she wanted. You want to go out eat, you want to go see the movie, you want to do this, you want to do that. This, that, and the third, to maintain me because I looked after her because of her beauty and her body, right? It says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. Don't look at a woman because she got a pretty face and a nice body, and don't be thinking about when am I going to get it in. And we all guilty of that. That's why Paul said what he said. He said a woman, if she maintains her husband, if she controls her husband, is full, and you gotta be dominant with these fucking hoes too. Most of the time, if you give her anything, you grant her a permission to talk shit. You tell her, look, bitch, shut up. But you gotta be cool too. You gotta be nice to her. You gotta apologize, but you gotta have that tough. You gotta be that take charge type of guy. Sometimes you let her say what she gotta say. It says it's full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. And a wicked woman abated the courage, maketh an heavy countenance, and a wounded heart, heartbroken. Richard Pryor said, you lady leave you, and you so messed up you get hit by a bus and you don't even realize it. And a woman, oh, I miss her so bad, she had a nose like Rudolph. A woman that will not comfort her husband, back up her husband, ride or die, in distress. Women leave you in distress. When you're doing good, when you're doing bad, they hit the door. There's one video where this dude fell in love with a stripper, and I've been with strippers too. How you deal with a woman, you get to know each other. You say, I used to be a stripper in Atlanta. But anyway, I said, oh boy, this is not gonna go well. Anyway, the guy fell in love with a stripper, and he was, I guess he was a janitor, and he would give her money, I guess he got sex, of course. He was head over heels in love with the woman. I think he got injured or laid off or something where he wasn't making money temporarily, So the money stopped, and as soon as the money stopped, she blocked him. She cut him off. And he got so fucked up, I think he wanted to kill himself. He tried to kill himself. Then he wound up killing the bitch. It was a sister, demonic sister. Many men have, what is that, First Ezra's 4, if I'm not mistaken. Many men have gone out of their wits over women. And it happens to all of us. There's a certain woman that has a certain look, and you deal with her, and you just got a feeling, and you never had this feeling before. And with age, you get past that, It said, a husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, going back to Eve, and through her we all die. So it was the bitch fault. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to cat abroad. That's a father with his daughter and a husband with his wife. You got a woman that got guy friends. She talking to her ex. She talking to different girls. She's on it. Man, you know what this woman is doing, man. It says, if she go not as thou wouldst have her, because you control this situation, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Paul, going back to what Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, it's best not to even have a woman in its present distress. Anyway, let me do this. Let me come back over here. Come back over here. Now you got a woman that's in the military, stupid woman that's in the military, that what they do is they get passed around, if you know what I mean. They want to get ranked, they want to up their rank, they got to sleep with the rank, the sergeant or the major or the lieutenant or whatever. And they pass them around. It's all kind of, if you married to a woman and she's out there on the other side of the world and you taking care of the kids, guarantee you she's getting it in. She's the freak of the week. But this is what being an Israelite is all about. You learn about life. You learn how to deal with women. You learn how to deal with this situation, that situation. And the Christians don't teach you that. They don't teach you that. Moving on.
From troops. Okay. Reporting discrepancies. The Pentagon faced scrutiny for delaying the disclosure of injury figures and for temporarily lowering the official death count on its website from 18 to 14, which a spokesperson blamed on data disruption. Okay. It says unprecedented press restrictions, information blackout. Okay, because everything that's being reported is all being, is all controlled. All right, they're not going to give you the full truth. It says the Pentagon, now restyled as the Department of War, has not held a formal press briefing in 2.5 months. Okay, so they've been silent. Media ousting.
Yeah, because they're not going into the progress of the war. It's looking real bad. And this is beautiful because we're one step closer to all hell breaking loose. To the chip coming, to the missiles taking this place out.
Outlets were replaced by pro-administration media, and strict new rules led to a mass walkout by journalists on October 2025. Hostile environment. Recent policies include requiring journalists to be escorted on the grounds and declaring the press office as a classified space. Press freedom watchdogs call this the most hostile Pentagon environment in recent memory. All right. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, so that's the point, man. So, hey, this thing, man, you know, as we're gonna get into, it's now it has shifted. I wouldn't say it's shifted, but now you're dealing with Iran, and now Russia and China are now involved. All right, and we'll get there too, because all this is just fulfilling prophecy. All right, Joel, the third chapter, Ezekiel 38. Okay, all those prophecies come to mind. Going back here, and 2 Ezra 16, and verse 34 again, it says, "In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack." Okay? The end time prophecies, destruction, war, the return of the Lord, you know? These things are not slacking. Verse 38. And when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains can pass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Okay, the child is about to be born. All right, which symbolizes, okay, nuclear war, World War III, the war of Armageddon, and the return of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, destruction of Babylon the Great and the salvation of the Lord's elect. Okay, these things will play out. Verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it.
That's why these Edomites are crashing out, man. The pay that they get is not, you know, they're not making ends meet. So they're crashing out all on YouTube and all on TikTok. And they've been beginning to receive the curses that we've been receiving to this very day. And even in we're talking about past years, past hundreds of years. And they're going to be putting ships too. Was it Deuteronomy 30 verse 7? You can read that whole chapter. It tells you that they're going to have to pay for what they did. What the curse that we went through, they're going to have to go through the same curses. They're going to be on the very bottom.
Inside. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, now China and Russia are now involved. Let's grab that too.
Right. They know about that. You know, let me read this. Yeah, what happened when they hit these major targets? They're saying that either China or Russia, or China and Russia, are giving them intel. Turkey, which is a NATO nation, is backing up Iran. So let's go. Let me see something here. Okay, this is from Kim Iverson. Are they insane? Now war with China and Russia, all right. Prophecy. Okay. Well, I thought we were dumb enough getting into this war against Iran, but apparently we're going to add China and Russia to the mix because we just can't have enough. Apparently, we've got a lot of people in the administration. The administration making a lot of moves that clearly look like they are ramping up for World War II, or should be World War III, right? With China and Russia involved. So it would be China, Russia, Iran, Ezekiel 38. Does Paula White know that? Evangelist Paula White John Hagee, probably several other countries joining in. And none of these people are filtering this thing through the script. They're not saying, could this be the war of Armageddon? Could this be, Jehoshaphat? Could this be the fulfillment of Isaiah 34 or Joel 3? Countries joining in. The people in church, the pastors in the church is not teaching. Geno Jennings is not teaching this, man. You know? It says countries joining in on this against the United States and Israel. Because I don't know who else is going to join and mean this. This could be one way the U.S. gets the West into the war with Iran. The West doesn't want to get into the war. The European countries don't. Let me bring this back. The European countries don't want to get into the war, but they would get into the war against Russia, and then who will get into the war against China? That's world war right there. You know, Japan would join in on that, perhaps. Taiwan, of course. You maybe could get some other countries to go up against China. Maybe Moab is my wash pot. They're gonna wash this devil out. Maybe even India, if you bribe them enough. I'm not really sure how this all plays out, but it does seem like there is kind of this strategy building toward bringing these countries into the war. That's Armageddon. You know? This is the elder talking. Let's let him go the way he's going. Oh, you know what? I can get this play.
Ayah 3. Bear with me. Zephaniah 3 and 8. And it reads, Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, unto the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. All right, this is the Lord's strategy. As she was saying, it's all spiritual.
So anyway, you can watch the rest of this. What I'm going to do is, let me come over here. So I'll put this in Isaiah 4:1. I did videos on this before. Let's go ahead and read some of it to show you that they're on the same page that we're on. It says Isaiah 4:1 illustrates the severe destruction and loss of life from impending judgment, where so many men will die in battle, wars. They die in the wars, that 7 women will aggressively compete for a single surviving man. They offer to provide their own food and clothing. And this doesn't apply to Israelite women, it applies to all women. If there's a shortage of men, own food and clothing just to bear his name and remove their societal disgrace. That means an old maid. You don't have a child. Say it again. No, the shortage of men. own food and clothing just to bear his name and remove their societal disgrace. That means an old maid. You don't have a child. More specifically, scholars considered the following points. Continuation of chapter 3. Right, because Isaiah 4:1 should be the last verse in Isaiah chapter 3. Because Isaiah 4 verse 2, that's talking about the kingdom. Even Ethan, Deacon Ethan said that from the tallest brother in the IUIC. You know, he even said that, and Nate was saying that's talking about the kingdom. No, Nate is wrong. It's a continuation of chapter 3. This verse serves as the concluding thought to Isaiah. Right, there you go. So technically, that should be the last verse of Isaiah chapter 3. Then Isaiah 4 verse 2 should be the first verse. Because they were cutting up the scriptures, that should have been a part. Because remember, when you go to the scrolls, when you go to the writings, the prophets, they wrote on scrolls. They didn't have numbers. They didn't have Isaiah 4. You just had it, so it's a continuation. It's another of Isaiah 4 verse 2 is another thought. This verse serves as a concluding thought to Isaiah 2. I can't believe they're saying that. Are you listening to this, Bishop Nate? Because Deacon Nathan was correct, which details the judgment on the arrogant woman of Jerusalem, Israelite woman. The verse should ideally be grouped with the end of the chapter rather than the beginning of the chapter. And that's correct. So when they codified the book, they went off on that. That happens from time to time. Reversal of cultural norms. In ancient Israel culture, a husband was legally required to provide food, clothing, and marital rights. Exodus 21 verse 10. The woman offering to waive these legal requirements, we will eat our own food, meaning they're desperate, and provide our own clothes, highlight an environment of pure desperation. Women are going to be desperate. They're going to come seeking you out. You don't got to come asking them out. They're going to come seeking you out.
That's right.
When the so-called proverbial shit hits the fan. When the excrement hits the oscillating machine. Symbolic reproach. Being unmarried and childless was viewed as a heavy cultural burden and shame. That's in the King James, the word is reproach. John the Baptist's mother, Elizabeth, which was a wife of Zacharias, the priest, she said when she was conceived, she said, the Most High took away my reproach. I mean, I'm going to have a child. And she was up in age. They were both up in age. They said the women are not seeking romance. They are, well, romance is a part of it. They are desperate to be called by a man's name to remove the societal disgrace of widowhood. And so a lot of them are going to be widows. And barrenness left in the wake of war. The 7 women. The number 7 in biblical literature often symbolizes completeness. There you go. So one man can have 20 women. Another man can have 50 women. So you're going to, in a sense, you're going to have a harem. Many women to one man. And if a woman acts up, she bucks up against your authority, you just kick her out.
That's right.
And marauders can grab her up and gang rape her kill her, chop her up, and eat her. That's in the movie The Road. The wife in the movie said she went out. She said they're gonna find us. They're gonna rape me. They're gonna kill us. Then they're gonna eat us. So it says it emphasizes the sheer scale of demographic crises caused by the loss of male lives in that war. So if you're stupid enough to go to war, you're gonna be taken out. Somebody gonna be taking care of your woman. And they ain't breaking no laws because you're dead. Let me do this. You know what I'm gonna do. Let me get ready to close. But I gotta do my strength and conditioning. I'm doing leg day. Anyway, let me see, what the DMS is Rael Light take home. Let's see what it says. Okay, let me open this up. See, Christians are not teaching this in the churches. The shortage of women, that you're gonna have one man gonna have multiple women. It's in the Great Millstone GMS camp of Hebrew Israelites interprets Isaiah 4:1 as a literal and prophetic preview of severe future economic collapse and marital devastation in America and the West. Beautiful, beautiful. Where a massive shortage of surviving men will force women into desperate circumstances. Let me read that again. Where a massive shortage of surviving men will force women into desperate circumstances. No, it didn't say men are not going to force nothing. The women's going to come to you. They're going to come to you, freely come to you. They want to be under your roof. They want to, this is my husband, this is my man. Prophetic and social breakdown, society, scarcity of men, Isaiah, well, they mentioned Isaiah 3:25, but Isaiah 13, a man shall be more precious than fine gold. It says scarcity of men. GMS teaches. Now, we were going through this yesterday. Like in Ukraine, there's a shortage of military men or men of a certain age. There's a shortage, and we were going into the images of Ukrainian women. Ukrainian women are beautiful women. A lot of them look like Latins. And a lot of them, I believe, are Jake. Scarcity of men. GMS teaches that upcoming World War societal unrest and divine judgment will cause massive casualties among men following the lead in context where your man shall fall by the sword. The next verse should be, a 7 women shall take hold of one man. Then, chapter 4. There's an extreme desperation. The women are not desperate enough now. They're going to get desperate. It said the imagery of 7 women grabbing a single man symbolizes an overwhelming imbalance and a time when normal societal structures collapse. Self-sufficiency. See, a woman's not going to tell you, are you cheating on me? Ain't no fucking cheat. We don't cheat. A man could have, as his divine right from the Habba Shemal Shai, that he can have multiple wives. Now you got this black knucklehead, Bishop Nate, talking about you only have one wife. And them guys that follow him, they do that. If I was part of that thing, I would be, and I had more than one wife. Now if I don't have a wife right now, If I get a wife, I get a wife. If I don't, I don't. But if I get a wife, I'll have one wife. I'm not looking to get up multiple wives. When I was younger, you want to, you want to have a woman or two on the side. But when you get to a certain age, you really don't even need a woman. You might desire one, but you really don't need one. Because it takes away the focus. If you have 5 women, it can take away your focus. If you got feelings, real deep feeling for them women, it's a self-sufficiency. The women offering to eat our own bread and wear our own apparel denotes a reality of deep poverty where men can no longer provide basic survival needs. That doesn't mean that. Leaving women begging just to carry a man's name to remove the social shame and the reproach of being unprotected. Let me do this. Give me a second, y'all. Let me do this. Let me bring this back. Let me do this here. I don't want this. I didn't even go to this. Let me do this. The virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. And the war shall be destroyed. Husbands shall perish of famine. Okay, this is what I want. Give me 2 Ezra 16, 33, 34. That's going to be my follow-up question. 2 Ezra 16, 33 and 34. I'll read this. So let's see what happens. I should have put that up as a follow-up. Great Muslim James Israelite camp use 2nd Ezra. That's why we go to the Google, but just to see if they know what we know. And they know they're I would say 95 to 98% accurate on GMS, on Great Millstone. It says 2nd Ezra 16, 30, 34 as a direct literal prophecy of end time tribulation, specifically highlighting severe global famine, devastating. We will eat Isaiah 65. 12, you start at 9, 12 on down. World war and total collapse of societal infrastructure, which is man-made, government-made, just prior to the return of the Messiah, whom they call Yahweh Shai. Context to the passage, GMS doctrine, a literal end-time plagues. GMS teaches that the latter chapter of 2nd Ezra is often categorized by scholars as 6 Ezra, outline the final sorrows hitting modern society, Babylon, America. Beautiful. Give me a second. Destruction of men. Verse 34, and the wars shall their bridegroom be destroyed, and their husband shall perish of famine, is used to provide that martial law, civil unrest, and extreme lack of food will wipe out the active male population, leaving families utterly destitute and unprotected. Desolation of the land. Verse 33 is tied to upcoming martial law scenarios where normal travel and commerce cease, leaving cities and fields empty and overrun. So, Isaiah 65 gonna have to kick in for us. Urgency, and it is, because we trust in the Most High.
Right.
Again, the churches are not teaching you this. Let me see. Urgency of the elect. Urgency of the elect. These verses are paired with the subsequent verses like the labor pains in the same chapter, 38 and 39, which the elder read, to warn believers to detach from worldly securities such as buying, selling, or building, because total societal collapse is coming down without delay. Anyway, let me see what's happening here. So you go watch the rest of this. Let's go to the lady has a dream of World War III, Babylon, America, and Russian war. Okay, let me go ahead and let this go.
Truly, if you didn't hear the dream, if you go to the beginning.
Yup, until the next one. You know what I'm saying? You females are done. It's a wrap. Time to go. Oh no. Oh yeah, it's like G.I. Joe on the floor. You broads gonna be running to us. And look, as you treated the light-skinned man, light-skinned brown man, the light-skinned king, the God, yeah. I'm playing that cup now because a lot of you are trying to come to me now. And I laugh at you. You dig? You know what I'm saying? I will do the picking. That's it. You won't be doing the picking. Okay? So, like I said, let me see. I done dissed about 10 or 11 or 12 of them already. Probably more than that. You know what I'm saying? Because the first thing they do, they come to me with the bull crap. Oh, excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Or I like your pants and all that. You know, all that old clownish little girl nonsense. And I just keep on walking. You know what I'm saying? Keep on trucking, cold lantern. You dig? Just keep on rolling. Just keep on rolling and rolling. Because I ain't got time. One, you've been tampered with too many of these little boys. And the Snow Brad, Abominable Snow Brad, and Chico Lico, and whoever else. You dig? All right? I'm looking for the version. Two, I don't want you Eves at all. Eve, go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So recognize, I will be doing the picking. Okay? And to the next one, ball.